um, transition, decided it's time to transition to multifamily. And I've taken, I follow on webcast, I follow, or excuse me, follow podcast, follow a guy named Rod Cleef.
Mm-hmm.
And one of Rod Cleef's favorite buzzwords is seminars.
Yeah.
I bought a mobile home park down in Warner Robins, Georgia, just south of Macon,
Yeah.
which is about 2 hours away from me. And that
Yeah.
has been a few seminars along the way. So this year I've kind of tried to pivot. I'm trying to go multifamily the right way. Instead of being a solopreneur anymore, I'm trying to get smart and get with a team, learn a little bit from somebody else that's learned a few of those knocks. And honestly, I fall prey to ready, fire, aim syndrome sometimes.
Yeah.
And, having more than one set of eyes on a deal going, no, cuz we don't want to do this. I've seen this movie, and that movie's not going where you think it's going. I think that wisdom would help me to grow better, not just grow faster, but grow better. So I've gotten into a small deal over in Charleston as an LP, and I'm now at the phase where I'm trying to really get serious about growing myself as a multifamily person, both by networking, building my skills, what I can bring to the table, and just honestly trying to soak up as much knowledge as I can, and try to figure out how I fit into the multifamily world. Now, that was a very selfish viewpoint of what multifamily is to me, but that's where I see myself going right now.
Yeah. Well, hey, we're human beings and we're going to act in our own self-interest always, first and foremost.
It's all about
And
me. It's always all about me.
well, it's all about all of us.
That's
And,
right.
we try to be more than that. But, every one of us start from that basis.
Sure.
It's natural. And
Mm-hmm.
so there's absolutely, I think that's a good thing. I love what you said about ready, fire, aim. Most people have a much different problem. And they can't pull the trigger, no matter how much they aim, no matter how much they're ready. They just can't pull the trigger. And so
Mm.
it's much easier for someone like you to actually find success because you can course correct.
Yes.
And, we make lots of mistakes. I cannot, I tell everyone that whether it's your first deal or your 50th deal, you're going to make mistakes. I still make mistakes every time. I make mistakes every day, but we always make forward progress. For every two
Mm-hmm.
steps forward, one step back, but you're still making forward progress. But you can't make forward progress if you never fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
so
after a while, that rifle gets heavy.
it does. It does. And Trevor, I think, could attest to that. Trevor's
Yeah, it's
been part of some
definitely
deals.
School of Hard Knocks. You learn a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. We have PhDs from the School of Hard Knocks, right, Trevor? Yeah. Still learning it every day. So
I've taken a few advanced courses. I haven't earned my PhD yet, but I've taken a few advanced courses.
Now, are you going to Rod Cleef's boot camp?
I sure am.
So I will be there.
I'll look forward to meeting you.
Yeah.
I was that actually has been an aha moment for me. My eldest daughter turns 19 that weekend, and I was putting myself in the box of, okay, I either have to make family go first and stay home for her birthday, or I have to go to the boot camp. I can't do both. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? You big dummy, you've got enough Sky Miles with Delta. Pick up the whole kit and caboodle and fly everybody out to Denver. And that way I will get my cake and I will eat it too. She doesn't remember flying. She had, of my three daughters, one hasn't flown ever, and the other two flew when they were so small they don't remember it. So for them, this trip will be the great adventure, learning how to go to the airport and deal with all the shenanigans at the airport. Like I said, I'll get my cake and I'll get to eat it too, and then I'll get to share that with her as a birthday present to her.
That's
what
awesome.
what an absolutely awesome birthday present. That's a great father right there. trying to pass on some financial literacy, trying to instill some of the ideals of generational wealth. Nothing you could do better for them.
You know, I'm the only person in their lives that thinks, independent self-employment in a lot of ways. And, I don't know about you gentlemen. I grew up very much being taught, got to get a job, got to get a
Yeah.
W-2, got to belong to somebody else as a wage slave.
Yeah.
And it has taken me years to break the mentality of that's not the only way to do things.
Yeah.
So she's in college right now. And if I can just expose her to, there are other ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are some things that joining with a group of other people in a W-2 type environment can be a good thing, depending on what the mission is that you're trying to accomplish. But I had an experience several years ago where IBM looked at me one day and said, you know what, you're not billable enough. We don't want to keep you. And 95% of my income was based on my W-2.
Yeah.
So for me, having plan B and not having all my eggs in one basket, but having multiple income streams means a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm still building toward that, but that is one of my ultimate goals.
Yeah. Alan, it's one of the things that we try to teach, and one of the things that I've tried very hard to instill in my children. But society and quite honestly, me as a father, I did grow up with that. Work your fingers to the bone. The harder you work, the luckier you get. And I tried to instill that in my children also. And what I wound up doing is instilling into them. I've been an entrepreneur most of my life, but I didn't instill that entrepreneurial spirit into my children. I instilled into them that they have to work hard, that they have to have a job, and it's not what I wanted to instill. It's not what I thought I was instilling, but it's amazing the messages we send to our children inadvertently.
Oh, yeah,
and
absolutely.
And so I think, again, I'll say absolutely, congratulations taking them out there. I hope that's the beginning. We want to put them in a position where they never need to worry about being fired, right? Yeah, we want to put them in a position where they get to choose. There's nothing wrong with a W-2 job. The world depends on W-2 employees and people working, and as long as you're enjoying that, and as long as you feel like you're making a contribution to what you want out of life, that's wonderful. But we want to always make sure that we're teaching them the concepts of their money working as hard as they do, and giving them the tools where they get to choose their employment and choose whether or not they stay. And if somebody wakes up one morning, whether it's IBM or whether it's the steel mill that I worked at, or whether it's Trevor, I'm forgetting the name of the company. iFly that Trevor worked at. If they decide one day we just don't fit the mold, we're in a position where we say, okay, no problem, and keep going.
Another thing is I see a couple of gray hairs between the two of you, and trust me, I've got plenty of my own. I was in the National Guard for over 20 years, and I still remember the day that I got my 20-year letter. Now, to someone that's never been there, let me explain what that means. Your 20-year letter says that you have earned your military retirement. You've crossed the magic line. Now, I didn't hang up my boots at 20 years. I kept going. But when you get that letter that says, hey, you've crossed the line, you can retire any day you want to, it changes your attitude. Because someone can say, hey, we're going to deploy you and send you to someplace you don't really want to go, or to participate in a mission you want to participate in. You can always, at that point, you can always look at them and go, you know what? I'm headed over to the office and retire. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It changes. That doesn't mean that I quit serving. I leaned forward just as much, and I've deployed since I crossed my 20 years. Don't take me the wrong way, guys. But it changes your perception, because it goes from, I just got to stick this out and take whatever they dish out for another year, 5 years, whatever it is, to, hey, I'm here, and I'm here because I want to be here. I'm serving. I'm doing this because I want to. And I think that building my real estate empire likewise will put me in the place where I enjoy my W-2 job. I install human resources systems for city governments and small like that. I enjoy it. I enjoy this problem solving aspect of it. But I perceive that when I know that I've got enough income from the side gig that, I don't have to do this. I'm doing this because I want to do this. I expect there will be that mentality shift there as well. The freedom of, I'm doing this because I want to do it. I'm doing this because of what it allows me to contribute.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Great place to be in.
Oh, yeah.
And we definitely want our children to be there. And that's, one of the things that we offer. I don't know if you know, Alan, we're a nonprofit. We started about 18 months ago, and we have a strong belief that, the educational component of commercial real estate, multifamily, and we do deal primarily in multifamily because that's what we invest in the most and what we believe in the most. But we believe that that is something that if you've got your last 50 grand, we think that you would be better served to put that into a building and let the building be your tutor, let the building be your mentor. And instead of giving it to me to teach you. So we've made all of the educational components free in hopes that people would actually start investing in themselves and investing in real estate. Now, most of us need coaching. Most of us need a good kick in the ass, or we need someone to,
yes,
right. Or we need somebody to hug us and hold us by the hand and say, you're doing well. Come on, you can do it. Let's jump in.
Accountability is my word. I need accountability.
Yeah. And, we realize that. But that's I think that for folks that if you're down to your last a little bit, and that's what I say. I'm 64 years old. I tell people I want to be a real estate investor when I grow up. And I've attended a lot of training programs, and most of them, all of them were very good. And I took a lot out of all of them. But I also seen so many people putting the last penny they had into that with the hopes that that was going to be the answer. And for most of them, it wasn't the answer. You have to learn by doing. There's only so much you can learn from a book, only so much you can learn from listening to podcasts, and so much you can learn from your mentor coaches. Sooner or later, you have to take action.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you can sit in the stands and watch. You guys are in Chicago, and watch the Bears play all you want to, and you can be an expert on all the stats that all the players have and all that good stuff. You can know everybody's 50-yard time, blah 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 blah. But when you put on the pads and you step on the field, it's different.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And no amount of watching YouTube videos or reading books or anything else is a substitute for strapping on and stepping on the field.
Yeah,
definitely.
And go ahead.
What was that Mike Tyson said?
Well, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Right. Right. Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. That's great. I love it. So, Alan, I know that, you guys are going to the conference out in Denver, and beautiful city. We were out there in February for the best ever conference and had a great time at the Gaylord. But we'd love to see you in Chicago this year, next year. And we are doing this both in person and virtually. So if you have a chance to join us virtually with a virtual ticket.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd love to introduce you to the network of people that we know. Trevor's one of those key members.
Excellent. I did not realize there was a virtual option. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. And there will be a lot of extra content for the virtual attendees. Some speakers that can't be there in person that will be adding extra content. But more importantly, we'd love to just have you visit gobnetwork.com and see what we're trying to accomplish, and if it's something that can help you, or more importantly, if it's something that can help your daughters. We would love to network with you and see if there's a way for us to collaborate and try to find you some help to get what it is you want out of this game. Whether it's partners or limited partners or JV partners or a deal sponsor, a KP. We're trying to provide a place where you can find all those things a lot easier than the traditional path.
Okay. Well, and also I'd like to find a place. It's got to be a two-way street, right? I want to be able to contribute back. Right now, I jokingly say that one of the things I can do to contribute back is I can tell people all about the good and the bad and the ugly about mobile home parks.
Yeah. Well, I have not invested in my first mobile home park, but I believe in the product and I want to. But like apartment buildings, if you go into it blindly, this is an example of what I mean by being a great teacher. If you buy an asset, whether it's a mobile home park or an apartment, and you do a really good job, as a coach, what am I going to do? I'm going to pat you on the back and say, "Attaboy, good job." But the apartment building will send you a check. And when you walk to the end of the driveway and pick up that check, what do you want more? Do you want the attaboy or the check? The check, I think, will motivate you a lot more than I could ever motivate you as a mentor or a coach. But I think the more important piece is the punishment. Yeah. So I'm a human being. I have a military background. And if I were the baddest drill sergeant that's ever walked the tarmac, I can only punish you so much before I get tired and I don't want to do it anymore. But that property, it will call you at 2:00 in the morning and say, "Hey, the fire department's here and they want you." They've just busted down the door and there was water pouring out the hot water heater. They'll call you 24/7, 365. And literally punish you every day that you're not doing it right. And they'll start to take away the money. And it might even start to ask for money from you.
Yes, it will.
And then you will do one of two things. You'll either get it right or you'll quit.
Well, I'm too stubborn to quit. I'm too stupid to stubborn run pretty close sometimes, according to my wife.
Or as we called it when we were growing up in the South, stick-to-itiveness. You've got the stick-to-itiveness, and that's a great thing. But you're going to stick to it till you get it right. Yes, but ma'am. I can't punish you relentlessly day after day after day the way the property can. So again, a great teacher. That a human being cannot necessarily do. So, but what are some of the negatives for mobile home park investing?
Oh man, that's an open question. Where do I start?
Did you have city sewer or did you have?
I do have city sewer.
So that was a plus.
It's in various states, and trees are evil. I used to love trees before I got into the mobile home park business, but I have decided the trees are either stupid, they don't know better, than to drop limbs places I don't need limbs to fall, and they don't know better than to put roots in places I don't need roots to go, or they're just evil and they're doing it to taunt me and make my life miserable. Depends on how you want to look at the tree. Yeah. I had done a little bit of apartment, single family renting before. Well, I had a condo. I call it apartment, but actually I've got a couple of condos that rent out. It's a different class of tenant. And you know what? Yeah. They're good people. They're good people, just like anybody else is good people or anything else, but it's a challenging tenant base. And so one of the other mistakes I made was I will never, ever go into a deal without adequate reserves ever again. I'll fix it out of cash flow. Said no smart person ever.
Yeah.
Difficult. That's been a challenge. But you know what? At the same time, it's rewarding in different ways. Not to pat myself on the back because I'm not great at this by any means, but I'm kind of making a difference in some folks' lives. I'm providing housing to some folks that where I'm at, their options are pretty slim. And so I feel good about providing housing. And I'm going through the mobile home park today, and it's had some tough times before I came along, and I'm going through and I'm improving the place to bring it up to what I consider to be a reasonable standard. You guys both, actually, Jim, you might not, given some of the stories you told, but you and I probably take for advantage. If I rent an apartment that's going to have a refrigerator and stove, I've got places that when I took them over had tenants in them that did not have that. And to me, it's not a home if I can't come home from work, grab something out of the fridge, cook it on my stove, and have dinner. I define that as home. If I don't have those two key elements, I've got a box to keep my stuff in.
Yeah.
So I'm certainly not perfect. I got some tenants be more than happy to back me up on that. I'm definitely not perfect, but they know my name and they know that I'm genuinely trying to do my best by them and make their lives better and make that place a better place for them. So there is some, it's not material, but there is some reward in what I'm doing there. And like I said, in the meantime, I'm learning things like I will never, ever walk through another one of those things again and not know what I'm looking at when I go to do a walkthrough. I've heard people talk about you should never, ever buy multifamily, and they're talking about apartment complexes, but never, ever buy a multifamily without walking every single unit. Man, I know why. I got some horror stories for you that we won't do on this call, but I got some horror stories for you. Yeah, we will always walk every single unit, no matter what I'm buying as a group. And again, like I said earlier, I'm not doing it by myself anymore. There is something to be said for collective wisdom. If you are interested in a mobile home park, there are some things that some knowledge that I could bring to you that you might or might not pick up from listening to a mobile home specific seminar. But because of some of the seminars I've been to, yeah, I can definitely talk to you about that and tell you things like scope your sewer lines. It's valuable. Get a good look at your units. And I would go into more detail about what I mean by get a good look at units. So I've learned a lot. I'm continuing, and I know that I will continue to learn a lot out of that deal because I've had a few failures or seminars in my life. I went to OTS. I went to Air Force OTS. I got kicked out. I wasn't quite making the cut according to the captain that was over my little flight. But you know what? I never hung up my boots. I stayed with it until he said, okay, that's it. You're gone. And even then I followed the protest process all the way up to talk to the bird colonel. Sir, I'm not ready to leave here yet. I'm ready to keep trying. Well, we're done trying with you. So that was a hard failure to take, but it's also taught me over the years that I go out kicking and screaming. I don't ever go out, I quit. No, it's always, I go out kicking and screaming. You're going to have to make me leave. And multifamily will be the same way.
That's fantastic. I love that. You have a huge advantage over most people. Most people, it's always easier to stop. It's always easier to quit. But I think every time we do, a little part of us dies, and it's how we become cynical, and it's how we lose our youthful ability to dream.
The other part about you're exactly right. But the other part about that is that there's a book, and I can never remember the author or the name of the book, but the book talks about the fact that if someone who was digging for gold and stopped, and later someone else came back and went digging the same mine again, and another foot in struck pay dirt, struck the mother lode. I just can't stand the thought that if I quit, I might quit 6 inches from the mother lode.
Yeah. And even if you're a lot further than 6 inches, you've done a major part of the work for somebody else that's going to come along behind you. So why?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, tell me more about you guys. I mean, I'm turning this into the Alan Show, and that is not what it needs to be tonight, guys. Tell me about what you guys are into and where you guys are on your journey in investing, because I'd like to know that.
Trevor.
Yeah, so I'll go first, and then I got to run because I do got to cook dinner.
Yep.
So I live in Austin, Texas. I started passively investing 5 years ago, and started multifamily syndications. And since then, I've done quite a bit of passive investing, up to 18 deals. And then I lost my job at COVID. I worked for iFly Indoor Skydiving, and I switched to being active. But it's taken me a long time to get something going and get a deal done. But I've got a couple now that I'm working on, and switching over to the active side. So I'll be what's called the GP, which is on the general partner side on 3 deals, assuming everything goes through and closes. One's already happening in Columbia, South Carolina. And then I have one closing mid-July in Corpus Christi and one closing mid-August in San Antonio. And each one I've gotten a bigger share of the the active side.
I don't know much about Columbia, Missouri.
Yeah,
but,
it was South Carolina. So
South Carolina, but
yeah, it was a deal that I stumbled into. So I actually had a deal that I worked on for 6 months that unfortunately imploded. And just as it was imploding, I got invited to help join this deal with some people I've been working with. And so I just moved some of my investors that got their money back on a deal that didn't happen over to that deal.
okay.
And got a small position on that particular project. And I'm still actually looking at some deals with that same group in Texas area. And that's how I kind of connected. They wanted to start doing deals in Texas. And so I said, okay, I can be your boots on the ground. And so we were second on best and final on one, and then first never closed. And so we resubmitted and they countered us, but we don't like their counters. So we'll see where it goes.
But I hear great things about San Antonio right now.
San Antonio.
And I'm not seeing much on the radar about Corpus right now, but Corpus is a great little town. I've spent a little time with a client there in Corpus Christi, and that's a great little town.
Yeah.
I don't think you could go wrong with either market. As far as the market goes, I don't think you could go wrong with either market.
Yeah. So I'm very excited.
Hard to go wrong with anything.
And I've been part of the
Texas.
GOB shortly after it started. I think I connected with Jim at a meetup and then joined the group. And I'm not as active as some of the people on the group, but I still consider myself pretty active. And,
Okay.
Well, active enough to be on the board of directors.
So you're saying he's no wallflower. He may be modest
That's
about
exactly
it, but he is
right.
no
He's
wallflower.
modest. No, Trevor is a wonderful human being. I'm blessed to have him in my life. But I've had a long career in multifamily. I've had a lot of ups and downs, and we're just trying to help as many people as we can. I tell people, even though we're a nonprofit, I'm not Mother Teresa. I'm not trying to not make money. I would just rather earn my money on the back end. I'd rather earn my money after I've proven to you that I can help you, as opposed to asking for it up front and then promising you that I can help you. And I think that, we want to make the educational component, the access to other deal sponsors, access to other partners, access to all of the tools and resources that you need to do this available, so that that's no longer a hurdle or an obstacle or an excuse to do this.
Now you get personal.
So we're trying to eliminate as many of those as we can and make it all about you. And do you really want to do this? Do you really want to change your life? And if you do, we want to try to help you. And hopefully in doing that, then everyone that's involved with it can profit from it. And, we do have an ulterior motive. I know that, we have a mission to serve underserved communities. And, but in order to do that, we need money. We need operators that think the way we do and can have a similar mentality that, in the military, as well as a lot of other organizations, they say, see one, do one, help one. And we need those people that see one and can do one, and then can either be that motivator to reach back and help them, or get behind them and give them a kick in the ass.
I like the way you talk. I like the way you think.
Well, it's 47 minutes in. It's supposed to have been a 30-minute little webinar for people about what independence and freedom means to them. And, I wanted to talk about financial freedom and the mental shackles we put on ourselves to remain average. And I'll end with my definition of, it's not my definition. I'll end with a definition that I've heard many times for average. It's the cream of the crap, or the top of the bottom, or the bottom of the top,
Or the bottom of the top.
bottom of the top. So,
Outstanding.
gentlemen, Alan, it was a great pleasure to meet you tonight. I hope that you and your daughters have a fantastic time at Rod's event. Make sure that you get to meet Trevor. It'll be a great addition to your trip and to your life. And
I'll be looking forward to it.
And Trevor, take us out, my friend.
Yeah, so I think I found you on LinkedIn, so I sent you an invite, Alan.
Excellent.
Found the right guy. I found a guy with your name that lives in Atlanta. So
Yep. That's probably me. Excellent. I'll go get the phone and get and respond back to you. And I'll also touch base with Mr. Biggs.
about the GOB conference, and then then we can just start talking. And again, even if you can't attend the conference, doesn't mean you shouldn't join the GOB network.
Tell me that website again. I heard it at the beginning of the call. Tell me the website again.
It's right under my name. It's GOB. Just think of Get On Board
Right.
Network.com.
Network. Okay.
And for everyone that's listening to this later on, we are live streaming. We are having a 4th of July, Independence Day, Freedom Day, Financial Freedom Day special. So if you go there and put in the word freedom into your ticket, you will get a absolutely fantastic price for your virtual ticket or your in-person ticket. Really look forward to seeing everyone July 13th and 14th. And Alan, can't wait to meet you and the girls more in the future in this space. And Trevor, as always, looking forward to seeing you, my friend.
Awesome. Take care.
Thank you very much, gents.
Bye-bye.